Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many black women can't find a husband and why 70% of black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.
In a previous video, I talked about a black female therapist who lost her job after making a viral TikTok video where she verbally abused and castigated black men, demanding that they go to therapy. Now, this therapist, Shabri Rawls, went on a 2-minute tirade where she basically attacked black men, saying that they didn't have emotional intelligence and did not know how to communicate with black women. Well, I have to ask your Shabri Rawls a critical question. Who raised all of those black men who are in therapy with her? Because it was those black female single mothers who practically raised most of these black males out here, and it was the way that that black female single mother raised that boy that is leading to the communication issues that you're having right now with your spouse or your girlfriend. Because the model that that black female mother presented to her son as related to socializing, this is what led to this boy shutting down. Because what does a boy do when his mother is going out here saying things like, you ain't nothing like you're no good daddy, N-words ain't S, you ain't nothing but an N-word, little MF? When a boy is subjected to constant verbal and emotional abuse from a mother who is angry at the boy's father and projects that anger onto him, what does that boy do? What that boy does is he withdraws and he shuts down. And moreover, as he gets older, he learns that it's best not to communicate with black women openly because it's not a safe environment where he can express himself freely. That is what many black boys learn growing up in single mother households, as he hears his mother going on in emotional rants and tirades, and also going out here and verbally abusing him. What he learns is he can't communicate with this woman because every time there's a conflict or an issue, what this woman will do is snap at him, or she will explode in a rage where she goes into profanities, just like your Shabri Rawls did in that video. And that type of communication is not conducive to fostering a healthy relationship between a woman and a man. And that whole foundation for the dysfunctional communication comes from that mother who and her son. And what happens as many black boys and black men grow up into black men is that many of these black boys, as they're going out here trying to socialize with girls, to try to create relationships, their only model is seeing that black single mother who is just loud, argumentative, bossy, and hostile. And that's what makes them go out here and they feel that they're defensive as related to going out here and communicating with many of these black women out here. And it makes it where those black men who have trouble with relationships, they go out here and are not really willing to be open. Now, in order for a man to go out here and be open as related to communication, a woman has to foster a safe environment for that man. And that is something that flew over the head of your Shabri Rawls as she went on in her emotional tirade. It's not about your so-called emotional intelligence. It's about fostering an environment where a man feels emotionally secure. And as the helpmeet, a woman is supposed to help a man by creating a space and an environment where she and him can feel safe about going out here and expressing themselves. So a man needs to feel safe with his woman in order for him to go out here and communicate effectively with her. Unfortunately, many black women out here, they subscribe to the same narratives as the white feminist, and what many black women don't understand is that the white feminist is a white supremacist, and she has a deep-seated hatred for black men, and many black women who imbibe the feminism throughout this culture, they don't understand how subconsciously they have this deep-seated hatred of black men as related to the feminist media that's out here, and due to the way that they're raised in the single mother household, they have expressed a lot of anger towards the black man, and they express it consciously and subconsciously. And again, this puts the black man on defensive, and this is why he's not going out here and communicating with the black woman, because he knows that if he says something, eventually she's going to twist it around and make him the bad guy, and he's not going to be able to go out here and solve problems logically, because her expressions of emotion are so crazy and out of control that he cannot go out here and move the relationship ahead. Now, your Shabri Rawls, as she was going on in her rant, basically presented every behavior that leads to many black men not wanting to go out here and try to communicate with their girlfriends or their wives, because they're acting in the same hostile way that their mothers acted. And again, this was the model for many black boys and black girls. And the only way to break out of that paradigm is to understand that the approaches to that communication that are used by people like your Shabri Rawls are not effective at connecting with people. Because, like I talked about in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, many black women believe arguing is an effective form of a communication, but arguing is not an effective form of communication. Arguing is a sign that communication is breaking down, and when you approach someone in an argumentative way, they are not going to want to go and try to talk to you, because you're talking at them, and when you're talking at them, you're not being able to convey your message to that individual. That is the issue that your Shabri Rawls had with her little 2-minute rant. She didn't really understand how to communicate with the audience, and she didn't understand that when you're dealing with black men already have a lot of things coming at them, and the way she was coming at them was like another adversary or another enemy. And that's one of the issues black men have with black women, is that many of them come at you like another adversary. And that's why many black men shut down, because black men, we live a completely different life than white men, non-black men, or even black women. And most black men, we go out here, we have a target on our back, and that already makes us anxious. And then we come home and we have another target on our back. So it's not like we have a space where we feel safe about communicating, because the entire world is against us, and it's just a lot of stress, because you just cannot go out here and relax like other people, because you have so many people out to get a black man, because a black man is public enemy number one in this country, and he's public enemy number one in the world. And this is why many black men just shut down as related to social situations, because they just have so many enemies out here that there's no real space to go out here and breathe unless you are by yourself. And this is why many black men are wanting to go into solitude because, again, it's the only space where you feel safe for a minute. So a lot of these women like Shabri Rawls are sitting there wondering, oh, why is that black man not communicating? Well, that black man is not communicating because in a lot of cases, if he does open up and share with the woman that he loves, or he goes out here and shares with other people, what those people will do is take whatever information that's given and use it against him. One of the things that is most hurtful for a black man is when he goes out here and he shares something with a woman, and what she does is, in the middle of an argument, go back and throw whatever sensitive moment that happened in his life right in his face in an effort to hurt him. That is one of the things that really stings many men, and it's one of the reasons why many black men are not really open, because they can't trust many of the black females out here, because many of the black females have the same mindset of a white feminist, and a white feminist in many cases has the same mindset as a white supremacist. So it's like trying to share things with an enemy. So when I listen to Shabri Rawls sitting there saying, oh, why don't black men open up in therapy? Why don't black men go to therapy? Well, many black men, again, in this white supremacist system, know that there's a target on their back. And because they know that there's a target on their back, they have to be very careful about the information that they share, because any information that they share could possibly be used against them, and it could possibly be used either to go out here and take away a man's job. It could also be used to take away his relationship, and even in the worst case scenario, it could possibly be used to take away his freedom. So many black men fear that they have a lot to lose, and this is why they're not willing to open up and share like your Shabri Rawls wants them to do. So she's sitting there thinking, oh, it's about the emotional vocabulary, but many of these black men, they don't really have a vocabulary because, again, their mother dominates them so hard that they cannot feel like it's safe enough to go out here and talk. Many black men just fall silent because they have domineering, emasculating mothers, and then they go from domineering, emasculating mothers into an environment where you're dealing with a lot of masculine and aggressive females like your Shabri Rawls, who express their misandry openly. And what's really insane, as I see it, is she's talking about expressing your feelings openly while she's being masculine and aggressive. And what incentive does a man have for expressing his feelings when a woman is verbally tearing him down? A critical question I would like to ask your Shabri Rawls, who sits there and wants me to sit there and believe, oh, these black men don't open up, these black men don't communicate. Well, there's no environment that's safe enough for those men to openly communicate, and the only place I believe many black men would feel safe is with a therapist who was a black man. Now, I believe the only safe environment for black men to have to deal with their mental health is with another black male who was a licensed psychotherapist, like YouTuber Mad Voodoo Man, aka the Iceman, or other black male mental health professionals, because only another black male mental health professional would know what a black man deals with in society, because it's clear to me a black female like Shabri Rawls does not understand the struggles and issues that black men deal with as related to this world. And they don't understand the pressures that black men deal with in this world as related to that target that's on our back, the constant threats from your white supremacists out here, the constant threats from individuals as related to situations like their job or even the relationship that they're having with their woman. They don't understand those struggles that those brothers are dealing with because, again, life for a black man is completely different from anyone in this world, and only another black man understands what another black man is going through. So she went out here and actually made it harder to get black men to go into therapy or to go get help. Now, I have been trying to help brothers out here with my men's issues books because I understand how the struggles of being a black man, I understand how white supremacy just does a lot of psychological damage to the black male mind. Moreover, I understand the psychological damage of growing up in a single parent home with an angry single mother. All of this and going to these crazy public schools, all of this does a lot of damage to the black man, and it keeps him from connecting with healthy black women. And this is all something that your Shabri Rawls doesn't really understand because she doesn't really care about black men. She came at black men in a very hostile and very unprofessional way. And that hostile and unprofessional way, this was something that just showed how she really doesn't get why she got fired. And the reason why she got fired is because she was attacking black men instead of talking to them like I'm talking to you right now. Now, when I go out here and I, again, write about men's issues and do live streams and videos about men's issues, I talk directly to the brothers out here. I talk directly to the issues that black men have. And when I see a female like this talking about black men in such a derogatory way, in a misandristic way, it's clear to me that she is not fit to be any black man's therapist because she still is harboring a lot of anger inside of her. And when she went into feminist talking points, that's when I knew there was something really wrong with this woman, because you can't come at a black man like that. You can't approach a black man like that when you want him to be vulnerable and open. No, that's not going to make him open and vulnerable. And in most cases, most men, if they're not going to be open and vulnerable like that, because being open like that too much is coming from a position of weakness. So one of the things I do is I come from a position of showing where a man has strength, and if he's having issues, then he has to have the strength of character to go talk to someone. And you have to approach it from the point of showing how this will make a man stronger. And this is where your Shabri Rawls failed, because she was coming at the black man like the way the white supremacist does, trying to break the black man down, trying to break the black man's spirit, instead of trying to build a brother up. And that's what I do with my videos and my books. I try to build the brothers up, and I try to improve their quality of life, because you can't come at a black man all angry and hostile and then expect him to try to go along with you, because basically you're nagging that man the same way his girlfriend nags him. You're nagging him like his mother nags him, and you're trying to force him to do things the way his mother does, and that doesn't work on a grown man. No, you have to talk to a man like another man, and maybe that man will sit down and think about going to go get some help, and that will persuade him differently. But when you attack that man, what you're doing is putting him on the defensive, and when you put him on the defensive, that's going to make it where he digs his heels in and says he's not going to do anything. Now again, I believe your Shabri Rawls wanted to try to go out here and make these videos to try to be like a Kevin Samuels, but the Kevin Samuels approach really was not about helping black women. No, your Kevin Samuels approach was detrimental to black women. Yes, those black women got attention, but what happened was many of those women had no incentive to change. Now, I wrote the book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, and I presented the points that showed black women that they were single. And while some were offended in the beginning, many, after reading the book, wound up learning that, hey, the way he's talking to me isn't hard. He's just presenting the points to help me out. And eventually, some of these sisters started to see where they were going wrong. And again, this approach of so-called tough love doesn't really work unless you really understand how it works. And that was something I learned working at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop, because while the trainers at Strive were hard on people, they also were providing a foundation of discipline and structure for those individuals so that they could understand that their behaviors were detrimental to them. So a lot of people like a Kevin Samuels or Sabree Rawls, they come out here with the tough love approach, but they don't understand. All they understand is the tough. They don't understand the love, and they don't understand that you're trying to, after you tell the person what they did wrong, you need to offer a solution to them that will help them move forward. And again, this whole thing, she's talking about why black men shut down. Well, again, black men shut down when they're being browbeaten, when they're being verbally and emotionally abused. What any person does when they're constantly being attacked and suffering an onslaught is they just go and they curl into a ball. And that's what many black men do emotionally, is they are forced to do this because, again, everything is against them, and because there are so many enemies, a black man does not feel safe. And she, again, doesn't understand this because she has not really talked to black men like myself to get some perspective on the issue. And that's the whole point as related to watching that video. I just saw a woman who came from things from a woman's perspective as related to black men. And as a black man, I can come from a different perspective and help those brothers understand, and black women understand, that there is a rift between us as related to communication. And the way we heal that rift between us is we have to build trust. And many women, they don't understand how to build trust, but you have to go out here and build that trust by just showing that man love and showing them that you're going to be consistent as you're related to your character by doing things like, whenever he tells you something, don't throw it up in his face in an argument. Don't really go out here and attack him all the time, because he's got enough people coming at him, and he would like to have a person he can be safe with. And when a person has people that they're safe with, they can open up. As an introvert, I know this personally for a fact. When you have safe people, you feel like you can talk to them. And that's what black men want, is a safe environment where they feel like they can talk to their lady, and they feel like whatever is between them can stay between them, and she will respect him enough to keep what's with them between them and not go out here and use it as ammunition against him. That's what a black man wants. And if you want good communication, you will go out here and give that man that type of safety, because if you give him that type of security as related to building that logical trust, he will give you emotional security in reciprocation. So when I looked at that whole situation, she's sitting there ranting about how black men don't communicate. Well, as I see it, the way you get a man to communicate with you is, again, showing him love by going out here and showing him respect. And when you show him respect and you build up trust, then he will go out here and tell you everything that will help the relationship grow. Now, if you want to learn more about how to build better relationships with black men, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find it on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. And if you want to see me do more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle, Vampires Stalk the Darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com.